Alright guys, welcome back. What we've got today is the Miyang Hall of Heroes B1 through B10, and we're going to be using Almighty summoning pieces after each stage. So we're going to, instead of getting the normal 5, we're going to go get ourselves 10 Sky Dancers, so I'm pretty excited about it. We're adjusting our team. I feel like this is not the fastest team. I'm going to periodically speed up and slow down the replay speed, so this is I did the HOH, recorded it, and I'm playing through it so I can give you some commentary over the top. We're going to use the twins because the twins are fun. We've got all 4 twins in Illusion, and the goal in the first couple stages is just to nuke it down. So I think that should be the goal of anyone pretty much mid-game or late early game, just to nuke down the first couple stages. They're kind of meant to be destroyed. So we're going to speed it up a little bit. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. So I want to talk about why I'm going to use the Almighty summoning pieces for this Hall of Heroes. I've been saving guild points for a long time, and I try to keep about 20k on hand just for this reason. So there's the first stage, 37 seconds. We're going to go in and buy the pieces. You go to your guild shop. Slow it down a little bit so you can see. You have to buy them 5 times, so it's, it takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of guild points. So for each one, you're going to get a half summon for 1,000 points, 1,000 guild points. So that's what you do. You go summon. Scroll down to your monster if you can find it. Let's see here. There it is. And see it says the plus 25 there in green. That's your Almighty pieces, and it gives you the warning. You continue, and there you go. And we're going to go get right back into the dungeon. So I've been saving these Almighty pieces for a long time for a few specific families. Before the change to the HOH, you could farm as many as you wanted, and that was a big advantage for people who were able to do that back in the day, especially people that don't spend as much on the game, free-to-play and close to free-to-play, stuff like that. Because if you could farm these HOHs and basically give up your weekend, you could skill up an entire family. I remember when I did and we're just going to keep doing the same thing, so we'll just let it run in the background. We're going to buy the Almighty, make a summon, and go on to stage 3. When they released, I want to say the Rakshasa, the Dark Rakshasa, that's when I first started streaming on Twitch. That was like my first Twitch stream, and I was running it in like a minute and a half clear for the HOH, and I was able to fully skill up the red one, the yellow one, the dark one. So like 3 full 4 stars completely skilled up from one weekend, whereas now anyone that started after the change doesn't have that option. And it sort of stinks. Or like for the Brownie, the Orion HOH, I fully skilled up an Orion, a Draco, Wind one, Aquila, and the light one, the Gemini? Yeah. So it was a different, kind of a different game back then. Like, there are 4-star families that I don't need anymore because of the way HOHs used to be. Which is a big advantage, I think. But since the change, you can only get 5 of each monster, and in some ways I like it because then you have your whole weekend. You could just knock it out and you're done. You don't have to worry about it. It's easier, and it's easier for I think early game players because they're not they can focus on each stage, like dedicate a lot of time to it, and each stage becomes like a challenge. But then the negative is you don't get infinite skill ups. So they released this. It kind of came to light that this Almighty summoning pieces was a way to kind of get around that restriction, in that you could farm half of a monster and buy the other half with guild points, but it's really expensive. I think it's 10,000 guild points to buy 5 extra skill ups. So 2,000 guild points per Devilmon is, it's worth it for a Devilmon-ish, but not cheap. So you don't want to just use it on every monster. Had I needed Galleon skill ups, that would have been a good one last month. So when this came out, I targeted several monsters that I really wanted to make sure I used the Almighty pieces on. And Sky Dancer is one. I've always had an interest in a Miyang, but I've never skilled one up. I put all my extra Sky Dancers after Chasun into HOH, which still was not skilled up. My HOH still needs like 6 skill ups or something. I don't pull a lot of Sky Dancers. They're kind of rare. So Miyang was one I really wanted to give a try to. I really like what she's got going on in her kit, and we'll talk about it a little bit here in a second. So this gave me the opportunity to get 10. I already had 2 or 3, I think I was saving. I was trying to use them to level her up. So going all in, we're going to spend 10,000 guild points. Going to buy ourselves a fully skilled up Miyang, and I think 3 skill ups into HOH, so my HOH will be 3 off max. And that'll be nice too, because that'll mean my regular Elemental Skydancer family will be 3 skill ups off max. And I think over the course of, you know, the next year of the game, it's decently possible I'll pull 3 Skydancers to max the Hwahi. And then should I pull a Light Dark, you know, that's just bonus, and I guess I'll spend double mons on that because I'm blowing all the things on Miyang and Hwahi. So I've changed the team up a little bit. I think I had a couple fails on the auto of this HOH from start to finish. Basically, the way I approach HOHs is I auto as long as I can. As soon as I fail, I switch to a slightly safer team that has damage but is a little bit more control. And so that's where this team comes in. The twins are out. We've got the daughter in the homunculus. We've got the healer in Perna, and then the control in Varad, and also a little bit of mitigation in the Bastet. So that's what's going on here. Let's see if I can go even faster. It might get a little crazy at the speed, but it's just the same thing over and over, so I don't think we need to watch it in real time. The homunculus died, so that's not going to make the cut next round. Because if you die, you're out. But I think this team, I feel like this team goes ahead and finishes up. So, and I think on the different families, it's kind of a personal choice which ones you value over others. Like if you had missed the ability to scale up all the brownies and you really wanted a Draco Orion, then, you know, when that comes around, you would maybe use your Almighty pieces on that. For me, the other families I'm looking for is, I'm looking for the Lich family, because I've got a Grego that's not skilled up, and Grego needs to be skilled up. I used all my Liches pre-pulling Grego into a Fuko, and then I started leveling up a Rigel as well. So now I've got like a half, oh, it's starting to get all glitchy because I'm going too fast. I've got about, this is B7, so now I'm putting in my safest team, I think. There's a couple different versions of this, but it's just very safe, and we're just going to dot them down like it's TOA. So I've got about half a Rigel and half a Grego right now is basically where I'm at, and a full Fuko. So if Liches come up, I'll spend another 10k to finish up the Grego and I guess the Rigel, I don't know. The other family I'm really interested in is the Neostone Agent, the Olivia family. Unfortunately, that was a massively farmable one back in the day, and I didn't farm it enough as I should have maybe. I got my Lisa to where I wanted her, and that was, I called it a day on that. And then I also started putting those when I pulled them into the blue one, whatever the name is there, the healer with the shield, which now I want an Olivia for RTA, and I feel like a skilled up Olivia is really valuable. So should that come around, I'll put 10 into Olivia and be good to go. But I think those are the only two families that I'm interested in right now. Harp Magician, they're good enough to warrant it, but they're fusible, so there's no reason to do that. If you just pull enough Rebekahs, you can eventually fully skill up all the Harp Magicians you want. And then I think the Dice Magicians have some value. So if I don't know. If I really felt strongly about one of the Dice Magicians, I don't really have strong opinions yet, that would be another one, because they're really hard to pull and they're new. So unless you're just summoning like crazy, you don't have a lot of those new units, and the Dice Magicians are not farmable. I think I've only pulled one of each element, that's it. I've never pulled a dupe 4-star Dice Magician of any kind. So an HOH would be valuable. Especially if I have a light or dark one, that'd be amazing. I got completely wrecked by a wind one the other day, so that's sort of interesting. And then the red one you see in Guild Wars sometimes. So, can we go faster? Oh man, we can go to 8 speed. This is going to get crazy. This might be too crazy. We'll stay at 4 for the boss. So that's my theory on the HOH and how you can use the Almighty pieces. Now, is it worth it? I don't know. It's a lot of guild points, and people will bring up a point. You could max out like one of your flags pretty easily with 10k points. You could do it. So that's a valuable skill. You could get, a bunch of summons from the same thing if you just buy scrolls. Oh, that totally messes it up, 8 speed. That's too bad. We'll go to 8 speed when we get in the dungeon. Maybe we won't mess it up as much. So there's a lot of scrolls you could get. You could buy some of the new stuff, legendary summons, stuff like that. But to me, a guaranteed devil on a monster I wanted to try was worth it. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, it's just too artifacty, unfortunately. So that's my plan. And I feel okay with it. I'm excited to try the Hwahi in R5 and RTA, and I really want to give her a fair shot at RTA. And what's nice is it creates a nice little efficiency in that she becomes my R5 either cleanser or secondary cleanser, and so I can, de-rune Elisa or somebody like that, somebody that's filling that role, and be a little more efficient with my runes, which is a big priority for me right now. I don't have as many runes as some people. I have, quite a few good runes, but the more efficient I can be with the runes I have, the better I'm going to be in all aspects of the game, which is sort of the theory behind what I'm doing with the twins right now. I'm just maxing them out because they're so effective so many places. So this is how this is going to go for the HOH. I think we auto the rest of it using this team. So we won't go longer than we need to on this. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was Miyang specifically, and why I think Miyang might be a good choice in RTA. There's not a lot of information about her in RTA. You'll see her picked sometimes in certain tournaments. Unfortunately, I haven't seen a lot of videos kind of showcasing or featuring her, which is what I was looking for. I was hoping to see some of that. So I might have to make some of those just so that there's some out there, unless I'm just missing them. If y'all know of any, I'd love to see them, just RTA Miyang videos. But like most monsters, I think she's at her most effective when all of her skills can be utilized. So her first skill is Glance, which is great, but it doesn't do anything other than that, but at least does something. So you will have a little bit of damage mitigation there. The second skill is super interesting, the attack-based heal. Really, really interesting because it's a flat heal, which in RTA is good because you're losing HP. So the more HP you lose, the more percentage of your current HP pool it heals. So it's not a giant heal, but RTA also doesn't punish as heavily ruining a defense rune versus an HP rune. So, a lot of my RTA units are around 130,000 effective HP, but only like 25,000 actual HP. It's a lot of defense because you want to be able to survive as the match goes along. So, should her heal for, I've seen some really well runed ones healing for around 8 or 9k in that range. And it's not a crazy heal, but it's enough that when the clock starts ticking and my 20k monsters become 18k monsters, suddenly you've got a 50% heal, which is pretty effective. That's pretty good. So we'll hope for that. Actually, I think that's the third skill. I'm sorry, that's the third skill that also has the extend and slight reduction of effects. So talking about that a little more, I feel like if you don't bring something worth extending, you're giving up some of what makes her special. So for me, that's probably Bastet. Should I pull a Wusa? A Wusa would be fantastic there. Just anything to make those buffs longer, more annoying. Even a Chilling would be great. But you do want to be able to extend if you can. And in theory, chain the heal along with the extend so that you get more value out of it. And with the slight reduction of debuffs on you, you clear 1 per unit, which is a Mav style cleanse. But I'm pretty sure it cleanses everything. It's not like Vero where it doesn't cleanse sleep and stuff like that. So if you build her with enough res, maybe the 70% range, to resist a lot of those debuffers that run, 60, 65, something like that. You don't see a lot of Molongs over 60. A Varad over 80 is pretty rare. So I feel like if I build her like 75% resist, I have a decent chance of utilizing her in a, kind of pseudo Tiana way and clearing the debuffs on my team. So that would be really nice too. So that's the heal that's interesting to me. And then the second skill is also really valuable. That removes enemy buffs. So she removes debuffs, she removes enemy buffs, and it's a damage based on speed, which as we know from watching Yan Hong, it's pretty damaging in the end game. I mean, combined with the defense break, it can kill things, And it gets 3 chances to remove buffs. It can remove multiple buffs, which is great. Oh, we're about to take on a B10 here. And it's a bar boost. I think it's 15% for each buff removed. So it's turn advantage. It's really good turn advantage should you remove even 1 buff. And if you get 2 buffs, then it's like fantastic turn advantage. 30%, something like that. Like, that's really, really, really good. So one of my issues is not having as reliable buff removal as I'd like. I have Molong, who's not super reliable, and then I have to go to pure buff removal units like Praha or Triton, which are fine. But if I don't get to bring those, or they get banned or whatever, then I'm in a Gani Ethna situation where you're giving up some of their other utility for their buff removal chance, and it's a chance. Ethna's a little more reliable than Gani, but they're single target. And so I think the Miyang will maybe step into that role a little bit and speed tune things together that need it, and I think it has a lot of potential there. So I'm going to build her up, and we'll talk about how we build it and the thought process that goes in there, and take a look at her more in depth in RTA settings. So that's kind of my plan. I'm thinking it's going to be a weird build because I need res, I need decent accuracy, I need attack. I need to basically look at how much attack I need for the different types of heals I want, and kind of give her all the stats. But I don't necessarily know that I need Violent. I think Violent is good, but the fact that her skill 2 is going to be buffing her up is interesting. So she'll get a little bit of bar there, where it would be wasted on a violent proc, which, I mean, everyone's bar is wasted on a violent proc if they have a bar boosting ability, but anything with an internal bar boost, I feel like violent is not as necessary. So I'm thinking fatal, which would be great, because I don't have a fatal set that is involved in RTA. So in theory, I farm enough giants, she could get my best fatal runes in the game, which would give her, you know, a top tier priority set, which is always good. Swift is also interesting, just max her out speed-wise and try to pick up her attack on substats. So that's the plan. And we're going to wrap up this HOH. This is all 10 stages autoed out. I mean, this is not a farmable team, obviously, but it is autoable once you get some of those control units, or you just sort of TOA-H it. And that is Miyang. That is Miyang on the whole theory of Miyang for me anyway. You know, what I want to do with Miyang, why I'm using the Almighty pieces, that sort of thing. So hope it was helpful. I don't know if that'll help decision making on Almighty pieces for people, but maybe in the future. And good luck with the Miyangs. Good luck with those Verds, people pulling those Verds for the first time. And I will catch y'all next time. Thanks for watching, everybody.